Dear ones, December will be like a dance for those of you who are willing to work with the energy in a flowing and playful way. You can dance with the energies of December. Because there will be many things coming to the surface in terms of disclosure and also the continuation of the November energies of things realigning beneath the surface. For those of you who are understanding what's happening, you can dance with this energy. You can move and flow with it and allow it to unfold. I will also share for those who are not in the understanding of what's happening, they may experience some difficulties with this energy because there will be a lot of inversions that are beginning to turn around. In other words, many matrix inversions that have been on this planet for many, many years are starting to become undone in terms of the matrix falling apart. And while this is a form of disclosure as some of these things come to light, for those not understanding what they are seeing, for those not understanding that this is disclosure, it may be a bit more difficult for them to grasp and understand what is happening. And so I invite you, dear ones, for those of you who do understand, to offer compassion, to offer explanations for those who want them, and to be a model of how you can dance with these energies, how you can allow these energies to move through and unfold in a graceful way. So I invite you, dear ones, to not become attached to any particular narrative that you may see in your mainstream news media, in your alternative news media, to not become attached to narratives about what is going on. And even any narrative that you might understand from what I speak, to check in with yourself to see if the story that you have in your mind is truth, and to check in with yourself to see if you resonate with what I am sharing and what feels correct and aligned for you. This is a time, dear ones, where it is very important to feel into your heart, your soul, your truth. It is very important to be very mindful and aware about how things feel in your body, in your emotional field. It is very important to be tuned into yourself more and more, and to create more solidification within your being. And what I mean by this, dear ones, is more fortitude, more strength within yourself, more allowing of the energies of what you are creating to take physical form within you and in your external reality. So it's not that you want the energies to be solid and turn into something unmovable and solid. But when I say solidification, I mean that strength, that fortitude that comes from within, that comes from self-love, that comes from your spiritual disciplines. December will also have some breaths of fresh air for some of you. And again, those of you who are in the greater perspective understanding of what is unfolding on planet Earth, when you witness certain disclosures, you can have a sense of relief. And it will feel like an opening in your heart. It will feel like an opening in your body. And this is a way that you can know and understand that what you are hearing is part of the unfolding with the light, the disclosure into the light. Ms. Chana was asking what types of disclosures might there be. The energies are ripe for certain disclosures within the political arena. This is not guaranteed, but this is something that the light is moving towards and working very hard to land in a timeline and implement. Particularly with elections, not just the recent elections, but the elections from 2 years ago. The light is working very hard to bring some disclosure to the public media so that people will understand how convoluted the election system is within the US and in some other countries. There is a small potential for some disclosure about what happens beyond planet Earth, what you might call aliens or star brothers and sisters. There's a small potential that some of this will be disclosed to a greater degree. Some of it has already been disclosed for those paying attention. This is more of a possibility in the next few years, but there are a few small things that could happen in your month of December 2022.
Would there be, with these disclosures, with either the political or whatever, would this be a movement to unifying everyone? Disclosures that would bring everybody together?
Yes, dear one, thank you for this question. Yes, the idea behind the light pushing for some of these disclosures is absolutely unification, but most likely what will happen first before the unification is some appearances of division. Because when certain people find out what has been going on, it will be very confusing. And unfortunately, some people who have known what is going on will get in their ego and have an I told you so attitude. And for those who have not known what is going on, the confusion that they experience, combined with interactions of people who have known, might cause a bit of friction. This will even out over time as people adjust. There will be an adjustment period for many beings. Because some of the information is disturbing. It is not easy for humans to assimilate what has been going on in the shadow. And so while the end goal is for unification and coming together and creating community together and restoring heaven on earth and all of these beautiful ideals, there will be a period of adjustment where you may see some division first. So understand that this is the likely pathway to unity. Again, the idea that polarity will increase until it's no longer needed. Humans are not yet done with polarity. They are not yet complete with this experience. And so it will especially come into the collective energy when disclosures happen. Because for some beings, it will be quite jolting to realize how they have been manipulated, how they have been controlled. It is not easy for a human to see and acknowledge. The human ego does not like to recognize when they have been manipulated or controlled. And so this will cause some disturbance for some.
With all those disclosures and, let's say, prophecies, what's going on the internet, what is possible maybe the next few months? Are we still on the ease and grace timeline, maybe with a few hiccups?
Dear ones, you are very much still on the ease and grace timeline. The human perception of what is ease and grace is limited by what you can see and what you can understand about what is going on behind the scenes. So, in other words, because most of you are not privy to all that is occurring behind the scenes, it may not seem like ease and grace when you witness wars, when you witness people starving or violence of some sort. This does not seem like ease and grace to you, understandably, dear ones. And yet, things could be so much worse. There could be a much deeper devastation of societies, of cultures, of health in human beings. Things could have been so much worse. So yes, you are still on the ease and grace timeline.
Yes, the other question is, somebody mentioned there might be some quantum cell phones coming out by the end of the month. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, they are already in existence. They are not necessarily going to be unveiled to the public in December, but they will most likely begin to be accessible for a few, and eventually this will be more common.
The three forces that I came into knowing, I think it's called the law of three. Does that still pertain to us in this timeline? And if so, can you describe more about this law of three? Thank you.
Yes, this still is relevant. When you understand polarity, imagine a seesaw or a teeter-totter. On each side, there is movement, and in the center is where it is most still. You could also imagine an ellipsis or the infinity symbol. There is a center point with these visualizations, and this is what you would call neutrality or 0 point energy. And on the sides is where there is most movement. On each end of the spectrum is where there is most movement. And in order for polarity to work, you have the positive charge and the negative charge, much like a magnet or a battery. In order to stay in motion, and I'm speaking of your current paradigm, in order to stay in motion, there must be that negative and positive. There must be that movement on each end of the spectrum. And there must also be that center point of neutrality or 0 point energy. Otherwise, the polarities would spin out of control. There must be something holding them together, so to speak. There must be a balancing force in the center. When it is time to move out of polarity, you will still have the charge, the opposite charge on each end, but it will no longer be light and dark the way you experience it now. It will not be negative and positive the way you experience it now. The best way I can explain through this channel is that it will be like the shadow is within the light. Any shadow that is operating is coming from the light and part of the light. The shadow will no longer be convoluted the way it is now. It will simply be shadow. The difference is the shadow that is at work now has refracted the light so much that it is in deep convolution, using energies like manipulation and control. And when you move out of polarity in this experience I am describing, you will no longer be working with any energies of manipulation or control. The shadow will simply be shadow. It will not have convolution within it. When you are feeling an emotional experience, allow the feeling to move through you, allow the emotion to flow, and allow the light to flow with it. And in this way, you can feel emotion and you can feel what is truth underneath the emotion. Not to say that your emotions and feelings are not truth, but there is a greater truth that is always present when you are in a true emotional release or allowing of the emotional flow. There is the joy, the peace. There is your truth, your light that is always at the center. And so I invite you, dear ones, to practice when you are involved in an emotional experience. Practice tuning into that greater truth within you, not as a distraction or an attempt to stop what you are feeling, but as a spiritual discipline to tune in to what is greater, that deeper truth within you of your light, your joy, your peace. And allow the emotion to flow. And you will feel a difference in how you process emotions when you do it in this way. I thank you, dear ones.
Sometimes when I lie down at night, I see through my third eye and I feel like I see a lot. And then other times I can't see anything. Is there something I can do to make this more consistent and open it more and see more regularly through my third eye?
This is an allowing process, dear one. This is not something that should be forced and does not necessarily even need to be practiced. There are times when your system, when your being is ready and available to take in information, and times when it needs more rest or needs to focus on other things. And so it is important not to force this, because if you would try to have your third eye open more, it would take away from your human aspect being able to do what it needs to do, such as heal itself, rest, digest, breathe, etc. So allow it. When it comes, and trust your I am presence and the knowing that it has of when it is good for your third eye to be open and when it is better for your system to focus on other things. Dear ones, I do invite you to remember who you are, to remember the deeper truths of who you are, to remember your soul essence and what you bring to this planet. There is a reason your soul has taken on a body and come to this planet Earth. And I invite you, dear ones, to remember and to go deeper into this experience of you as soul, this experience of you as joy, as peace, and to do your best to bring more of that expression through into your own life and into the collective energy field. It is so needed now, dear ones, as humanity and planet Earth goes through this time of transition, that what is at the core and what is anchored in each being is soul, is joy, peace, truth that comes from your soul. There is so much that you can bring through you energetically to serve humanity simply by connecting with your soul essence, cultivating your soul energy within your body and being. This can make a very substantial difference for humanity when you are channeling your soul, so to speak. If you have a song in your heart, sing it. If you have a blessing to speak, speak it. If you have a kind word for somebody, a stranger, say it. Do not hold back, dear ones. If you have wisdom to share, find a way to share it with an audience that is receptive. If you do not currently have a receptive audience, create one. There are no excuses, dear ones, as there are many social media platforms where people like to hear wisdom messages. There are many ways to share your wisdoms. Allow your truth, your soul, your joy, your peace to come through your voice, to come through your eyes, to come through your energy field, to be expressed through your body, whether it is through dance or another type of movement or simply through your breath. Allow your soul expression to come through you now, dear ones. I also invite you at the time of the solstice to take some quiet moments and to anchor gratitude within your being, to anchor gratitude that all is changing, that the light is streaming in, that disclosure is happening. Declare your gratitudes, embody your gratitudes, share your gratitudes. This will be a very powerful portal day. And the deeper you can go into gratitude during this day, the more you can assist in shifting the collective energy towards the light. I thank you, dear ones. I just want to plant a seed. Prime Creator was talking about soul and soul expression. January 23rd, the next Soul Power Symposium is coming up. So just be sure that you watch out for those emails. If you're not on my email newsletter list, please go to creationtemple.com and sign up so you can get alerted when we open the Soul Power Symposium Season 2. Thank you all for watching my videos and for engaging with the Prime Creator energy. I appreciate you.